see whether he can combine 10A and 10B as one car. Can. He, hey, I tell you, he's more high-tech than me. Can you give him a clap? He's every week, you know, he does all the audio and video files for us together with brother Alex. My job is easy. I only talk, no action. Psalm 11. So, if you had received my email, you would have got the notes. Anyway, it is here. Confidence in times of severe crisis. Now, the few psalms that we have gone through, and the next few, seems like it is always about despair, about crisis, about difficult times, challenges, and so on. But this was what David went through. So, some people live, or they preach, they go around telling me, hey, don't worry, you accept Christ, life is a bed of roses. Really, we are still on this earth. There will be valleys that we have to plow through. And David has recorded all these experiences for our edification. So confidence in times of severe crisis. But not to worry, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We still got around 130 odd psalms to go. So there are bright moments. So his question here, shall I flee or have faith? And when he was tested, when he was running away and fleeing from Saul and so on, his enemies, he had people who came and said, hey, why don't you just run? Flee to the mountain, wherever. To him, to one who is God-fearing, to one who has confidence in God, he finds that an insult. It is an insult. So what we have here in Psalm 11, 2 points. The needy situation described. Verse 1 to 3. And then the source of confidence. Verse 4 to 7. So again, you see that the ending part of the psalm is about confidence on a high note. He always describes the problem, but he knows there will be a solution. So, verse 1. And this is likely a situation where when he was running away from Absalom, his son. Well, I wouldn't say he was running away from Absalom. He was a seasoned warrior, experienced. And what has his son got? His son only had a silver spoon in his mouth. You understand? And thick black hair. Yeah, and very good political skills. So definitely David should overcome him. So David wasn't running away from Absalom, but just that David loved Absalom so much, he did not want to hurt Absalom. Okay? So, verse 1. In the Lord I put my trust. How can you say to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain? In the Lord I put my trust. We sing this praise now and then. So to tell me to run away as a bird to the mountain, how many birds fly to the mountain? I can only think of eagle, but I'm not a bird specialist, I don't know. But it means fly away, just go away. But we have confidence in the Lord. So you turn to Matthew 11 verse 28. And this is Jesus' invitation to us. And all we need to do is to accept and to respond in action. And it will be taken care of. Do not be anxious. And Jesus said, even as he invited all to come to him, come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Who will give you rest? Jesus. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. And I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So don't panic. Don't run here and there. Don't try and conceive your own solutions and try and do the resolution. Just rest in him. And even as we read this Psalm 11 verse 1, David rested in God. He trusted God because his confidence is in God, the deliverer. So how can you say to my soul, so you are an insult to tell me to flee as a bird to your mountain? Run away. Verse 2, for look, the wicked bend their bow. They are ready, they make ready their arrow on the string, that they may shoot secretly, that means in darkness. They may shoot secretly at the upright in the thief comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. And the thief doesn't come in broad daylight, or at least come announced at 3 p.m. I see you at your house. You know, the thief comes unexpectedly, aggressively, or whatever, but he comes to take that which is yours. And so, as the wicked bend their voice, is very, it's very poetic, and the way David wrote the thing. When the person who bends the bow, he is not doing that. Like a long time ago, there's this exercise machine called bull worker, right? Bull worker, you know. Those days don't have so many gyms, so they buy all this home equipment and strengthen their muscles and so on. So when the warrior pulls his bow, that means what? He is about, the next thing he will do is to what? Release, right? That means he is going to shoot. So the wicked bend their bows, they make ready their arrow on the string, that they may shoot secretly at who? Not at the wicked, they shoot at the upright in heart. So it's upright in heart. That means those who are righteous. And they are shooting at them. Verse 3, if the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? If the foundations, what are these foundations? This is law and order. If the law and order in the land is destroyed, if there is no law and no order, it is a cowboy town. Then, what can the righteous do? Right now, you look at Iraq and Syria and so on. Is there law? Is there order? No, he who has the weapon is king, man. He goes around, or even a knife, go around beheading people. You read the news or whatever, you go and check on Africa. Some of those places, they are really cowboy. Like in Nigeria, the Boko Haram, they decide that they want mates, they don't want to go Philippines. They just go and grab a bunch of girls and then they kidnap them, right? And recently they kidnapped a bunch of boys or something, men. No law, no order. These are the basic principles of life. That's why God, when He called Moses to Mount Sinai, He gave them what? The law. Otherwise, they are lawless. And here they are. if the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? What can they do? Cling to God. Cling to God. That's all we can. Yeah, in Psalm 21, no, Psalm 21, Psalm 121, what did the psalmist say? I will lift up my eyes to the hills, from whence comes my help. My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. So when the outlook is bad, I've said this many times, when the outlook is bad, try the outlook. Look up. You look around you, bad. Look up. Try the outlook. So what can the righteous do? Cling to God. Because He is the Father of the helpless people. So here we have the first point, the needy situation described. They are indeed helpless. The evil people are just aiming their arrows at them. But here, as we read the second part of Psalm 11, we see the source of the psalmist's confidence. The Lord is in His holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. We know that, right? He is there. He is still on the throne. He is in heaven, in His holy temple. His eyes behold. And this, to me, is most comforting and most assuring. That means what? Behold, that means He is watching. His eyes are watching. He is not sleeping. He is in control. Nothing escapes His attention. But people can write books and can question, where are you, God? Why do bad things happen to good people? You think God is not watching? God is watching. His eyes, behold. Because we are the apple of His eye. Israel is the apple of His eye. The apple is the pupil, the black part. Two things. When you are described as the apple of the eye, that means God is watching over you because you are the pupil. Number two, He is protecting you. He is protecting us. Because if you try and bring any sharp object to your eye, anyone try and do that to you, your eyelid will quickly shut. So God will protect you even as He shut His eyelid to protect the pupil. So His eyes behold, His eyelids test the sons of men. The Lord tests the righteous, but the wicked and the one who loves violence, His soul hates. So the Lord tests the righteous. But why does He test the righteous? To purify them for their sake. To purify us for our sake. And for the glory of His name. We studied Job, right? The last book. Why was Job put through that test? For his sake. Otherwise, he thinks that I'm okay. In fact, I want an audience with God. I want to put out my case and defend myself and so on. But God put him through the test for His sake, and the end of which is for the glory of God. But are we put through the test? And how do we respond to the test? When you and I are going through the test, honestly, in the flesh, there are occasions we don't enjoy it, right? Whether it is business failure or work challenges or sickness or financial difficulty or family problems with your family members. We don't enjoy it. But I know one thing. 1 Corinthians 10:13. 1 Corinthians 10:13. First Corinthians 10:13. You know this, right? 29 years ago when I first became a believer, I was given so many scripture to memorize. And one of them was this: no temptation has overtaken you except that which is common to men, such as is common to men. But God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will also make the way of escape that you may be able to bear it. You all know this, right? But remember, God tests you. It is the devil who tempts you. When God tests you, God expects you to pass. When the devil tempts you, the devil expects you, wants you to fail. So this passage here, if you read it in the original meaning, the intent, it is test, it's not temptation. God does not tempt us. God tests us. So no test has overtaken you except such as is common to men. But God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tested beyond what you are able. But with the test will also make the way of escape that you may be able to bear it. You understand now? Because when they translate to English, just like love, when they translate to English, it's love. But you read the Greek, there is eros love, there is storge love, there is filial love, there is, what's the other love? Agape love. Okay? So, it should be test. And God, when He tests us, He expects us to pass. And the first vivid example I can show to you, Genesis 22 verse 1. Genesis 22 verse 1. You know Genesis 22, right? That was the record of the test of faith that was given to Abraham to bring his son Isaac, okay, to sacrifice Isaac. And Abraham, described as the father of faith, he went in obedience, right? So you read verse 1. Now it came to pass after these things that God tempted, no? The Bible says, tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, and so on. And later, as he was about to plunge the knife into Isaac, God said, stop. You passed the test. Right? You passed the test. I don't need this sacrifice. This is only a picture of Jesus in the years later that God the Father will offer His Son. But Abraham, the father, doesn't need, he has already offered Isaac, but don't plunge into him. God provided the ram in the bush. That's why in this chapter 22, Jehovah Jireh. Okay? So, you remember we just read 1 Corinthians 10:13? God will not test you beyond what you can bear, and He will provide a way of escape so you can stand up under it. Right? We just read, right? So you read, now then you read Genesis 22. Yeah. Just as Abraham was going to plunge the knife into Isaac, God provided a way of escape. Stop. No need. I find you passed the test. I find you faithful. Okay. He provided a way of escape. So here is the ram and then the sacrifice. You follow me? They are all connected. So you cannot read Old Testament and forget the New Testament. But anyway, that is not the problem. The problem is a lot of people read New Testament and forget the Old Testament. They are all connected. The Old unfolds the New unfolds the Old Testament. Right, let's go back to Psalm 11. Verse 5, we just read, the Lord tests the righteous, but the wicked and the one who loves violence, His soul hates. Because you know why? They exploit the weak. And that is bad. Verse 6, upon the wicked He will rain coals Singapore, not often, but once in a blue moon, we have rain. What are those? Hailstones. Okay. But hailstones still okay. Pain only lah. But cold, cold is like burning, right? Hot. Upon the wicked he will rain coals. This is severe judgment. Fire and brimstone and a burning wind. Because you know why? My God hate them every day. You read 7:11. Psalm 7:11. Yeah. Psalm 7:11. God is a just God, and God is angry with the wicked every day. Every day. He so hates their violence. And fire and brimstone. You know, this sounds quite familiar, right? Without turning there, but if you remember Genesis chapter 19, Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot was supposed to run away with his family. He did that, but his wife turned back. Looked back, rather. Okay? But there was fire and brimstone. Rain upon Sodom and Gomorrah. Destroyed. Will this be repeated? Yes. You read Revelation. You read Revelation. In the last days, it will also be a very terrible situation. Anyway, upon the wicked he will rain coals, fire and brimstone, and a burning wind shall be the portion of their cup. That means the wicked, this is your portion. Because as you sow, you reap. They sow wickedness, they sow evil, they will likewise reap all this. Now, since we are on this, I'm sure you have heard this many times. God loves the sinner, but he hates the sin. Right now? Is it biblical? Is it biblical? Sometimes we use it so often. You know, God helps those who help themselves. And we use it so often. How biblical? No? That one is not. Okay. Anyway, that one is. But this one. What did I just say? God loves the sinner and hates the sin. It is not biblical. It is not biblical. You read all this, God hates the sinner. The sinner who persists in sin. But sometimes the way we use it so is like, okay lah, I don't condone your behavior, but I love you and so on. But there comes a time where we must tell the person what you do is wrong and God hates it. And as long as you continue to do this, you are not in the good books of God. You understand? And so often we just say, okay lah, I accept you as you are, God loves you, God sent his son to die for the world, you are included. Yeah. But God doesn't condone the sin. So in other words, so long as I don't see it, I don't know about it, I don't care. But as a person, I love you. God hates the sinner who persists in sin. It's okay. We are just read. So we must call a spade a spade. And if you know of people and you know of family members who persist in sin, you cannot condone their sin. You cannot condone the person who continues in their sin. You need to correct the person. Okay? So, verse 7, for the Lord is righteous, he loves righteousness. His countenance beholds the upright. His countenance beholds the upright. Actually, this one, the translation seems a bit difficult for us to, into English, a bit difficult for us to comprehend. His countenance beholds the upright. But in the original text, it means the upright shall see his face. the upright shall see his face. So, for the Lord is righteous, he loves righteousness. Yeah. And the upright shall see his face. His countenance beholds the upright. So his countenance, that means God, right? Beholds the upright. So we are reflecting the countenance of God. Some people say, wow, joyful, rejoicing and so on. But some people you see sour lemon, no life in them. So our countenance beholds his countenance is upon the upright. So in short, it means the upright shall see his face. So, as we end Psalm 11, it seems a very dire situation. The first part, verse 1 to verse 3, the needy situation described. But it ends on a good note. What we see here is the psalmist looked beyond his present circumstances. The psalmist looked beyond his immediate danger. Yes, he was in danger, because the evil people are bending their bows and ready to release and shoot at them or at him. But his confidence is in the Lord. So, lesson for us is look beyond your present circumstances, because your deliverer is here. Amen.